Welcome to Time for Change Consulting, third episode. How about that? Yes. Third episode. Oh, he know the three-piece.
The three-piece.
So last time we talked about, welcome to Droppin' Gems, because I say Time for Change, but it is Droppin' Gems, okay? So we talked about last time maintaining your focus and making sure that you are focused, okay? So now we're going to get into the specific skills of focusing, because now that you have identified, because you did your own work, you have identified what it is that you're going to hone in on in working with us, okay? So you're going to hone in on this one particular business, and you've already thought about, I got to take care of my kids, my family. I got to take care of myself, right? So you already know that that's added on to it. And you know that your spirituality, your wealth, and your health is most important when you're becoming an entrepreneur. So we have that down pat, right? So now that you have gotten your focus, I want to make sure that you are aware of Mr. Anthony Lee Wright sitting right here beside me, because this particular session is going to be really, really kindling to our history. So the one thing that Mr. Wright had worked with me on was understanding that I was a brand. Now, I've always felt like a superstar in the room. I ain't gonna lie. I always felt like I was a superstar in the room. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like I was doing what I needed to do for me. And when I walked in the room, you know that I'm Tanya, right? So I've always felt that way. But Mr. Wright always pointed to my attention that that was bigger than me just walking in the room, that was a brand, that you are a brand. So what we talked about all the time, and what he talked to me about all the time, was come on, when he would pull me to go talk to people, he would say, yeah, like this your brand, how you are, this is your brand, Tanya, what you do, your nails, your hair, your this, that, that's your brand, that's a part of your brand. And at the time, I knew that I had a brand, right? I mean, I knew I had a personality. I'm not going to say a brand. I knew I had a personality. I knew who I was. I knew I was, born and raised from Washington, D.C., Southeast. I knew culturally, how I like to speak and say things, right? I knew a lot about me as I was growing into the woman that I am today. But this man right here said, you are a brand, and it made me look at myself completely different. It made me look at my social media. It made me look at everything that was going on, and I was like, wait, hold up. I gotta pay attention to all this, because the way how I walk in the room is one thing, but when I drop a picture, I gotta look at that too. That's one way too. That's one thing. I need to know exactly what I'm putting on social media is a reflection of the brand. The brand. I am Time for Change CEO. How about that? True. Right? I am a person who runs a school. Right? So, I've been through a whole spiritual journey where people have lied on me, said that I was doing things that I wasn't even doing, and it could have potentially affected the brand. So it's very important. And I was like, what? You think me, a school owner, a person who has to watch their image and branding all the time, you think that that's me? That I would do those things that you heard that I've done? Right? I'm happy to say that I've been able to maintain, right? I've been able to maintain my image and my branding through all of the things that I had to go through in my growth in the inside. In the inside, because I had a lot of things personally that I had to grow from, and I had to make sure that what I presented to all of my potential people and potential clients matched the brand that I wanted to present the whole time. Now this is deep. This is a gem. This is deep, right? This is very deep, because I am telling you that it's still stuff you don't know about me. I bet you know you think you know.
Right.
I bet you know But even if you didn't know, I didn't present it to you because my brand won't allow me to. Hello, Jim.
Right.
My brand won't allow me to because I have got to walk in a room and be Tanya Ridley, the business owner, the author of Business Basics, The Bottom Line. I have got to be the owner of Time for Change Business Consulting. So my presentation has always got to match the brand that I am going to present to anyone I meet, whether you look like me or you look like someone else. It does not matter because I am going to be Tanya Ridley, the owner of Time for Change and Time for Change Consulting, and the owner of Droppin Gems podcast. And this man right here is going to be my co-host because he's the one who taught me that. And I tell him that all the time. I give him all the cahoots for it because you don't need to learn things from a book all the time. I'm sitting here before you and I'm telling you that Mr. Wright told me that. My political liaison said, wait a minute, hold up. Before we interface and before we talk to these people, you need to recognize, not that I was doing anything wrong. He said you need to recognize that you are a brand. What made you even know that? Where did that come from you?
Well, I'm glad you would ask. I'm trying to listening orders. I'm trying to be prim and proper like TR the superstar.
I need the expert to tell me this.
Right. So basically, the hypothesis. I'm joking. So this is what I understand.
It's the hood perspective.
Yeah, fresh off the streets, fresh out the alley, behind the dumpster, all of that, right? So, you have positive branding and you have negative branding. In the drug game, your brand is how much product you got and who you are in the street. He a killer, he can move product, he know Willie Foo and them, man, and all that, right? All the negative stuff. So it dawned on me one day, what about if you take all of that and turn it to the positive? So you're going to be a brand wherever you stand. You are, right? And what I noticed is, you can walk into the room and shut it down. But then after the euphoria of shutting down the room, what's next? You know what I mean? You have to have the ability to articulate what you do, because Time for Change is your baby. This is your baby. Not only are you the founder, but you're the CEO. Like, you have to operate this. You are the chief executive officer. People come to you. Your employees are a reflection of you. So you would want them to be on their best behavior too. And in the age of social media, in the age of technology where everything can be everywhere all at one time, your brand is more important today than back in the day. You know what I mean? Your brand is, so if you fake or fugazi, your brand is going to be fake or fugazi.
Yeah, tell us the word.
It's called fugazi. Fugazi.
We're going to try to spell that out for y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
And then look it up too, because once you get a look up information knowledge, like, that's yours. So fugazi, fake, phony, a fraud. If you're a fake individual, your brand going to be fake. Ooh. If you're hold up, I don't know if that was a gem.
Jim.
Right. So if you fake, your brand gonna be fake.
If you fake, your brand gonna be fake.
I mean, come on, man. You're gonna be fake like cornflakes. You know how many people try to knock off Kellogg's cornflakes? You got the Dollar Tree cornflakes.
Oh, man, they so nasty too.
Right, they are nasty, but they trying to be somebody else's brand. The Tree don't sell cornflakes, not the Kellogg. Not the Snap, Crackle, and Pop company, right?
I'm telling you.
When you real, your brand is real. It emanates from you. It comes from you. So politics is what I do. And can I share why I do that? Because I'm addicted to politics, man, like I was addicted to the drug game. Politics is just like hustling. Wait for this one. But it's legal. So I get into the political game. I move amongst the elected officials. I'm not elected, but I'm a politician, right? I think I'm kind of good at it. So my brand has to reflect that. People call me for campaigns. People want to, hey man, come over to the house, let's eat. I'm running for this. I think I'm gonna run for that. What's my best way to do that? And what I do is I tell them on some real, what are your strengths? So in DC, we got 8 wards. 3 of them are primarily black. You have to win. If you're black in DC, you have to win those 3 wards. You have to win them because you're black. The city is becoming gentrified, so it's changing. And so that's going to be reflective too. But back to the brand for a second. It's so important that you maintain your brand once you establish your brand. Especially if you are authentic. You're authentic. You done been through it. Like you ain't no Johnny come lately, I'm gonna help the hood and we gonna all overcome and kumbaya. You rock until the wheels fall off.
Oh.
Yeah, see, she like all that.
We ride out.
Right, because she's the clinician, so, it's certain things she can't say and do.
Okay.
And even off camera, she's really like that. Me, I'm just straight up off the chain with mine. Because that's where I come from. Sometimes she gotta reel me in, hey, Mr. Right. Bring that thing back. So that's how important your brand is. Your brand is the essence of who you are.
Yes. So in that, the brand is the essence of who you are, right? I want you to take some time to self-reflect. You already assess what it is that you want to do. How are you planning to brand that? How are you planning to brand that? How are you presenting yourself every single day to individuals that you come into contact with? This is something that you have to be mindful of every minute, every second of the day. And honestly, before I met Mr. Wright, I never really conceptualized or thought about it in that way. That every single time I have to do this. So I don't know if you follow me on social media. My personal social media is Mrs. TFC. That's my personal one. That page was blocked. Nobody could get in. It's open season now because I'm a brand. Mrs. TFC is the CEO of Time for Change and is the CEO of Time for Change Consulting. I can't hide the inner struggle that I had any longer. I have to be presenting myself as my brand at all times, in all interfaces of whatever I gotta be up against. Having a brand really allows you to be strong and stand on your own two in what you truly believe it is that you should be doing. I told you I was ordained. I walk like I'm ordained. Y'all should see it. I walk in the building and I walk like I own the room, that God told me to do this. God told me to do this podcast. So God told me to help people. God told me to do all of these things. I walk in the room because I am a brand ambassador for something that is bigger than me. So I challenge you. What is your brand? How are you presenting the brand to everyone around you? How? Because he said that he brings the hood, he like it because it's just like hustling.
Right. Except it's legal.
Except it's legal. So because of that, that's his brand, right? Because it matches the inner self and what he feels. See, people don't just pay attention. Because it's the psychological perspectives of business that makes you smart and strong at business.
Good God Almighty, she broke that thing down. She dropped that.
It is, if you have a connectivity to your business in that way. If you have it in that way, your brand will speak for itself. You can't be flugazy.
Yeah. Right.
You can't be flugazy, the word we learned today. You can't be flugazy. You can't be 1 minute You this in 1 minute, you that.
So is that the word for the show?
I guess it is.
Fugazi.
Oh, fugazi.
Yeah, fugazi.
He said fake and not true to your brand.
Oh my God.
That's what he said. Now, I don't know how to spell it, but we're going to try. We're going to put it up here. We're going to try to spell it for you.
Yeah,
but I got to make sure that you know, that you hear, that it is so important for you to be connected to your brand and branding yourself all the time. So, what does that mean?
What does it look like?
What does it look like?
Right. What does your brand look like?
What does your brand look like? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what your brand looks like. My Time for Change logo, that's right here, was created by me and my brother together.
Rest his soul.
God bless his soul.
Yes.
But that logo means so much to me because it was something that me and him created. I branded my entire Time for Change nonprofit with that logo. And I'm so happy that he was able to see it. So happy before he was gone. But the red in my logo represents crime and the blood. I strategically thought through the logo and the cycle. This cycle is a reflection of the trans-theoretical model of change. That is connected to recovery. The 5 stages of change of how a person gets through and out of the cycle. That's a clinical thing. So when a clinician sees my logo, it speaks to them. The brand speaks to them. It's not no regular logo that I just did, y'all. This is strategically done by way of my family and myself using my clinician skills to give and present something that somebody else can see and say, I know I've seen that before. I remember what that means. Who has studied it, right? Or a person in recovery who might have seen it to say, I know what that means. I could get help there. I want you to understand that everything down to your logo and what it looks like is a part of your brand. Dropping gems. I literally told the person who made Dropping Gems in the logo, I said, I want the gems to drop. I told the person, my cousin, bless her heart, who made my backdrop, I said, I want the gems to drop. I want CFCC in the backdrop, and I want the C's red.
Right.
Because I still want the connectivity to me in Time for Change. The businesses are separate. They're not connected. But guess what? When you see it, guess what you're going to say?
Time for Change.
That's Time for Change right there.
That's their logo.
That's Tanya Ridley logo. My book, The Business Basics. If you bought it on the Kindle, you'll see it has my logos on it. If you bought a hard copy, it's a red book. It's a red book. When I do a commencement ceremony, I'm dressed in all red. I take my staff out to a holiday dinner, I'm in all red. And what I ask them to do, can you kindly please wear black? Because I'm the change tonight. So those little details in branding and making sure that you're paying attention to it, those details don't just go unseen. People see them. People see them. And they value them in a different way. A recovering addict will value the trans-theoretical model in a different way than a clinician. A clinician will value the trans-theoretical model because they'll say, hey, I learned about that. It's different, but hey, it speaks to everybody who needs to be spoken to. How are you branding yourself when you walk in the door? I know years ago, I had to be a security guard.
What?
Yes. And they said that I didn't have a natural tone color of my hair. My hair was red. I didn't have a natural tone color. And so I looked at myself and I said, and they showed me a list of all of the natural tone and colors, and blonde was there. Brunette was there. Black was there. So I had to say, this is their brand. They want me to look a certain way. They want me to look like a security guard versus the superstar with the blonde hair. Yeah, that's what they wanted me to do.
So would it be fair to say that even back then, your brand didn't match theirs? Your brand didn't match their image of their company?
I'm telling you, it didn't. And then it pushed me to become a vocational counselor because I said, what's wrong with these people? It started my journey. It's all connected. So I'm asking you to really think through these components that I'm talking to you about. Making sure you got the foundation, but making sure that your brand is connected to you internally and you are able to present. And if you're not able to present in the way that you need to, taking a good look at other brands, and we'll talk about that coming up because we're going to talk about mentorship. Taking a look at other brands to see what they're doing and why they are doing it and why it is connected to them. You are listening to Clinician's Perspective of Business. My brand is so psychologically wrapped up in my presentation that it probably went over your head. But it wasn't until this man said that I took a good look at, I am presenting all the time. Everything's red and black. I want everything red and black. I want everything that you could possibly think of. I want my students' uniforms this way. I want the material. Ask my students, the material of the scrubs are rich when you touch them. I didn't just buy or pick the cheapest scrubs. Oh no, not for my logo. I didn't just get a regular cup. I got a bedazzled cup. What is your brand?
You said bedazzled.
Bedazzled,
Okay.
yes. What is your brand? So I challenge you to think about your brand. Drop any comments or any questions. I am here to consult you, okay? We are here to consult you because he helped me with this issue. I want you to think about your brand and think about your business and think about how you can perfect your brand. That one brand that we're talking about, not all the rest of them. Because remember, we focus, okay? We focus. What does that brand look like? What's the name? What's the logo? What's the title? What's the cause look like? What's everything look like? What's your colors? You should not be wearing purple, blue, and green when your color is blue all the time. What is your brand? What does blue mean? What does the color blue mean to you? What does the color purple mean to you? What does the weave mean? What does the weave mean? Do you need to have baby hairs or do you need to have it slicked back? I mean, because that's the hood perspective. Which one is it? Is your nails supposed to be long? Is they supposed to have gems? Are they supposed to be a certain way? I mean, in my brand, I say I'm authentically Tanya Ridley from Southeast Washington, D.C. And I look just like how I want to look. That's my brand. What's yours? Because I'm going to tell you, when they told me I had to change my hair color ever since then, I said, I'm a boss.
That part right there. That part.
I'm an entrepreneur. I know now that, if I ain't know it then, I know now that I am a boss and I must work for myself. Here we are. So the next show, we're going to talk about mentorship Time for Change Consultant is going to invite her mentor here. And we're going to get to chop it up and get it greasy with
Get
her.
it greasy.
Please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to Time for Change Consult.
Right.
Okay? Because I need you to be following through with all of the steps and all of the things. Okay? What you got to say, Mr. Brown?
So I just believe, honestly, and I told you this off air, this podcast is going to be completely different from what most people have ever watched, right? Yeah, it's dropping gems. It's you the clinician. I'm the recovering addict. But honestly, some of this is so life affecting and life changing. If you take in the information, like typically you would have to pay for this information. You would have to pay for this, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember how we started off with the brand, like. So I'm Anthony Lee Wright, and that's my whole birth certificate name, right? Like I didn't make this name up. That's how I was born. I started rocking with my birth certificate, and people started looking at me different, talking to me different.
Rocking with his birth certificate means he says his whole entire name.
Where some people will say, man, why you use your government name? I don't know if this is a gem. This is just a heads up. You can't have a government name until you first have a birth certificate. Right, that's my birth certificate name, and I rock with it. And what's amazing about it is I encompass and embrace all of that. That's who I am, right? And people that know me, they give me that. Hey, Anthony Lee Wright, man, you my dude. Hey, Anthony Lee Wright. And like it's natural to them. So my name is my brand. Mm-hmm. My brand is my name. So effectively, it's my name brand. And if you consider yourself a name brand, you just gonna move, think, and act differently. That's what it is. This is Tanya Ridley. I call her TR, the superstar, because that's who she is. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, hey, TR, what you doing? We go eat. You know my favorite spot to eat at. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm a real basic type dude. I got a basic car. I got a basic cell phone. I'm just a basic type guy. But you know what? This being basic, wait for this one, is a brand.
It's a brand.
It's a brand. If you basic, if you born, that's your brand.
That's your brand.
You probably won't hang out with me because I'm completely off the chain. But born is a brand. Just be the best boring you can be. If that's who you are.
Be the best.
Because she's a superstar. If you born, you can't do this. All this crazy, you can't do that.
Oh, man.
But she can't be born. Even if she just go a whole day without talking, her brand speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So if your brand can speak for you and you start moving and acting like your brand is important to you, other people will act like your brand is important to you.
Yes.
The reason they don't respect your brand, because you don't respect your brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so respect your brand. So I want to challenge you to respect your brand. Listen to us again on Time for Change Tuesdays, every other Tuesday at 6 p.m. Droppin' gems. Yes. And y'all have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to teaching you even more. I can't wait to talk to you about mentorship next week, okay? Y'all have a great one. We do have a guest speaker, by the way.
Her mentor.
Yes, my mentor.
That's his brand.
That's his brand.
That's his brand.
Yes.